There's no arguing that people love their cars.
We weren't arguing.
They talk about their cars, sing about their cars. Some people even look like their car. Whether it's an old car, new old car, fast car, family car, electric car, race car, two-wheel car, no-wheel car, or a car you know's parked around here somewhere. People who love their cars love to tinker with them. Some people tinker big, some people tinker small, some people tinker some degree between those two variables.
Whose voice is that?
And that's where Supercheap Auto comes in. We've been helping people tinker for 50 years. For people like Bill, Lucy, Kevin, other Kevin.
Oi, get off my car!
Didn't catch this guy's name.
It's Kevin.
Not Patrick. He doesn't shop with us. Whoever you are, whatever you drive, we'll help you make it super. Because super is our middle name. Well, technically it's our first.
Just keep trying and just join me when you join me. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to round 3 of season 7 of the Supercheap Auto East Coast V8 series. We're coming to you tonight from the wonderful Belle Isle at Detroit, one of the only places in in America, where Canada is south of where we are. Little fun fact for the place. Very heated competition tonight. These boys have two 28-lap races around Belle Isle. We're going to be racing with one compulsory pit stop in each race. Quiet apparently, so might be main chat might be quiet. Media source is very quiet. That's right, the sounds are there. Okay, and yeah, so this track is known as a concrete jungle. We've got concrete walls everywhere. It is tough. I also have with me Mark Duggan. Mark's having some technical difficulties trying to get himself in, but how are you, Mark? Still battling. And we continue on here. So the boys are just on their outlaps now for quali. It's a 20-minute qualifying session. Clock stops dead at the end of 20 minutes because we've got a heat format. And looking forward to seeing how these guys battle on here. Before we get to them setting their first times, we might just jump and have a quick look at this track. We start on the start-finish straight on Sunset Drive, and we come through the sweeping turn 1 and into the sweeping turn 2. And just quickly off two things here. And we sweep through the track 1 and 2 down the straightaway, down the Firestone turn. That is a wrong track map. What's going on there? I'll rephrase that. We head all the way down straight on that corner there. We head down to the very hard corner, and then we come back around to the Strand, and then we come down through GM turn, Porsche turn, Bosch turn, Audi turn, and then back onto the Strand where we go around the James Scott Memorial Fountain and down Sunset Drive. Apologies for the wrong graphic there. I'd fixed that one before we got into the broadcast. Points, I haven't got many graphics to put up, but I can tell you that the Super 2 boys, we have basically on equal points. For P1, we have Craig Schultz and Schultz and Smart both sitting on 519 points. Dave Coleman is only 5 points behind, so that's the top 3 of the Super 2 boys. And the point sheet I can't find for Split 1, for the lead boys, for the Pro Series boys. But what I can tell you is that James Scott is not leading after being away last week, and our series leader is the one and only Jordan Ross. So keep an eye out on him tonight. We'll be interested to see how he goes. And the main man to keep an eye on, though, will be, of course, James Scott, Jordan Ross. Rick Kuznetsov's back with us this week. We've got quite a few of the pro boys coming to play. Of course, previous series champion, Brenton Hobson, he's out there as well. And then we also have on track the likes of Blake Warboys, Cam Jones. So this is a fairly hotly contested field up the front for the Pro Series boys tonight. As we quickly jump on now with Blake. I think might be on an in-lap. And incident on lap 2 involving car 27, inappropriate use of comms for Jamie McKnight. So he's off to a great start. Jamie back, of course, after being away, and the passing of his mother, Wendy. Again, condolences to the McKnight family. Continuing on, Blake's ducked into the pits, so wait for some of these boys to head on their outlaps. Tom Frere is probably the man to watch. So used to seeing Tom, of course, always starting towards the rear. I believe Jared Philsell's hopefully going to get here before qualifying finishes as well. As you see Tom Frere on an outlap here, he's got teammate Jordan Ross in the area there, just behind him, and Jamie Dyke in the middle of that gap there. So definitely looking to be hotly contested. Dyke getting out of the way. So very congested on track at the moment. We've got a good 30 cars out there, nearly 40 cars. Pretty full grid. So definitely going to be tough to get space to get a set of good time here. As you can see from the track map, plenty of cars in front, plenty of cars behind. And the last thing you want to be doing at the moment is being on a flying lap. There'll be a few boys coming through with that. So just keep an eye on Tom. One of these young guys coming out of the Synergy Sim Racing stable. He is very impressive, and he now has Jordan Ross tucked up behind him as well. So we're looking for a bit of drafting on this track. Goes a long way, particularly heading down into turn 3, down through Firestone. As he heads down that way now, down the long straightaway. And very composed, very balanced. As we can see, Boise getting out of the way there. Little brush of the wall, hopefully not a 0x. 0x will invalidate his lap. Looks like he's still going, so he must be very close to it though. Again, brushing the wall again there. A little bit of overkill for my racing for their graphics. Big shout out to the boys in the chat as well. We've got Steve Murray, Pete Kelleher, Shane Patterson out there. How are we, boys? There's going to be some hotly contested racing here tonight at Belle Isle. Of course, the Vets boys were here a few weeks ago. We had our, excuse me, we had a 260k race around here, and it was tough going. So I think these boys doing sprints will be very, very interesting to see how they go. As we just saw, James Scott, Chris Blanchard with an impeding in against the name. So race control looking into that one. But Tom Frere here, he's just set a reasonable time. Jordan Ross goes second quickest with a 1:29.053. So 2/10 in between first and second. Adam Briggs, 1,000th of a second in P3. James Scott falls back a little bit further. And then Kuznetsov, Rudd, McNamara as James Scott just goes on pole. That's what we're used to seeing. Great time from James, a 1:28.938. That is going to be huge, how that's going. And it is definitely hotly contested here. As we look, you can throw 5/10 over the top 10 cars. That's a fair crack, these boys. Of course, the Pro Series racing here tomorrow night. These boys are here to make a point and make a statement. As we're sort of looking back down the order, we've got a few guys still get a time in. Connor Nixon, Matty Mascord, Matty Brunt, Thomas Freeman, Jamie Dyke. They've all still got a set of time, so we're definitely looking at 40 cars on track tonight. They are going to rumble through this concrete jungle. And it is absolutely epic as he ducks into the pits to change up. Might just see if we can find one of the split two boys. Might jump on with Ollie Patterson. Have a look how Ollie's getting on. He has set a reasonable time. So just looking at what he's done. And he is doing relatively well there. Sitting in 27th. And incident involving car 14, Ash Borella. on lap 6 as noted. So just everyone ducking into the pits here, just seeing if I've got that pop up on my replay. I don't think I do. But definitely battling on. So some very quick times already set out there. There's Ollie down the back straight there. Another guy who doing very well sitting on the timing tower at the moment, Anthony Visma from Accelerate Racing. He's sitting in 15th. So that is a great effort so far with the Excalibur boys getting themselves up the 15th. Just tucked in nice behind the big fish Michael Whiting from Fishy Motorsports. Questions been asked with the pit stops, what do they have to take? They basically have to put the car on the jacks. That's all they have to do to constitute a pit stop. So how much fuel, how many tyres, whatever they take, that is up to them. It is free choice. Bearing in mind though, if you push it around this place, it can be tough on tyres. Very difficult track. A fairly interesting weather pattern we've got set for the day as well. So if we just show that weather system, you can sort of see we've got 32-degree track temperature. It's overcast, 39% humidity, but we have 16 kilometres of wind, which is something a bit different that we don't see too often. Be looking forward to seeing how these boys tackle that situation. And it continuing on, James Scott is now on an outlap. Might just jump on with James and take the opportunity. When he gets cracking, we might do an onboard lap. As he's just about coming around now to get going. We might jump into the cockpit view. Jump on with the helmet cam. Have a look and we'll talk our way around this place. Turn 1, you got to sweep it hard. Keep it tight, tucked into the apex. Turn 2, find the apex. Be careful over the crest of the bridge. Get the car back under control. Change your tarmac from concrete. Back down. 4, pull it up. Got to be careful not to bounce the car too much on the ripple strip. It throws it sideways. As you can see, James correcting there. Same thing on this corner. Use the ripple strip a little bit, but not too much. That wall's millimetres away on both sides. Hitting those apex to perfection. I can only dream of doing this myself, but James doing really well here. Brush the inside wall. Carry it all the way to the outside. Now we're on the back strand here. Opens up, we've got time. Take a breath. It's not straight though. Still got to concentrate. Then we've got to pull it up hard. See 2 cars already off there in front of him. Nicely inside. Just clip the inside curb on the right. Come round to the left. I call this section the cricket pitch. Going around the cricket oval. It's on the right hand side. Come continue around. Now we come back to the strand. Got to pull it up. One of the slowest corners on the track. Get control. Don't hit that big curb. Get it under control again. Get on those gears. Now we've got to pull it up in the concrete jungle here. Careful not to bounce off the apex. Keep it off the wall. Now get as much grip as you can. Carry as much pace as you can. Stay off the wall on the last turn. He's done a sensational job here. Has James Scott gone quicker? And he has a 128.853. That was sensational. You can see how the top guys, the best of the best, the man leading the Pro Series, has the ability to keep it millimetre perfect off those walls. That is a cracking drive of a lap from James. And we still got Tom Freer in second, Jordan Ross in third, Adam Briggs in fourth. Synergy Sim Racing locking out the first 2 rows. Then we've got on the 3rd row at the moment, Kuznetsov and Rudd, the 9.5 Sim Sport boys. They're starting to take it up to these lads a little bit. So definitely after that, then we've got Radu McNamara. So 2 rows taken up. That is definitely starting to hotten up. Warboy sitting in 11th, breaking up that 9.5 Synergy. And definitely looking a little bit deeper down the list. We've got Freeman in 13th, Jones in 14th, Whiting 15th, Visma still sitting in 16th. So definitely cracking up the pace at the moment. as the boys duck back into pit lane again, and we see what they get themselves back out on track. As we look down through the list a little bit deeper, we've basically got 4 minutes left. So really, these guys, 3 minutes around, they really need to get going if they're going to beat the clock. Remember, the clock stops dead at 20 minutes tonight. There's no ifs, no buts. It is literally bang, there we are. So make sure you're ready for that, because that will catch a few boys out. As Rick Kuznetsov nicely tucked up here behind Jordan Ross. Probably a smart move. Try and use Ross the boss for the slip draft. And Thomas Freeman getting into the game here as well. So, of course, Jordan Ross, our championship leader at the moment. Definitely looking for a good result here tonight. No, I think I'm probably going to make a call if you're out there watching. Let me know how many safety cars do you think we're going to have in the first race. I wouldn't be surprised if we have one, maybe two. This is a tough place, and if it goes wrong, you're left stranded on the track. So the tension's starting to build here. What can Kuznetsov do? Can he get himself up and break that Synergy Sim Racing dominance as he starts to build himself up? So he's definitely looking the goods here. An epic battle about to unfold. Pete Keller saying 2, 1 in each race for Steve Murray. Let's get Kuznetsov. Nicely feathers the car through turn 1, turn 2, gets it over the bridge. Let's see if we can get sector times to work for us. So he's got a green sector for sector 1. And looking very balanced on the curbs there. It's got a green sector for sector 2. Really wants to step up. He probably needs to be trying to get himself a purple sector in the middle here somewhere. A little bit of drift into the wall. That's got to be a 1X. Definitely. See him pull it up. That's Kuznetsov's qualifying over. Done and dusted. Jump on with Briggsy now. Adam Briggs, our former champion of the series. Let's see what he can do as he comes down into Firestone. Very balanced, using the curb nicely. He's trying to knock off Jordan Ross, our championship leader. He comes through over the bridge onto the strand now. And he is absolutely flying. Of course, he's only 1,000th of a second behind Ross, so he doesn't need to find much. And he's got 3 purple sectors. And it's coming into the cricket pitch. A lot of people don't believe me. Go and look it up on Google Earth. You'll find there's actually 2 cricket ovals on Belle Isle. Fun fact for the night. As Briggsy now brings the car back on the strand to go around the James Scott Memorial Fountain. Onto the last corner. Hangs it out a little bit. They're all been purple sectors. He's into the pits. He's not up. And that is the clock about to die. Wow, we are definitely got a hot looking grid tonight. So let's jump straight on that grid. And we'll bring that up, and we start with James Scott from Synergy Sim Racing with a 128.853 on pole alongside his teammate Tom Freer. Great effort from Tom. Tom usually sits at the back, but tonight he's put himself on the front. And then on the road to the championship leader, the man who's got to do the hard yards, Jordan Ross. What can he do? Keep an eye on him in the first couple of laps. Alongside him is his teammate, the young gun, Adam Briggs. Watch out for Briggsy. And then we have on the third row, the 9.5 Sim Sport duo of Rick Kuznetsov and Dylan Rudd with their teammates behind them with Brad Ratu and Sean McNamara. And then on the fifth row, we have Damien Johnstone and Jack Boyd, both from Synergy Sim Racing. Brenton Hobson, the only man to be a two-time champion of the series, sitting in 11th alongside Blake Warboys, another former champion in 12th. Just shows how hotly contested this grid is tonight. As we roll over into 13th, we've got Thomas Freeman from Fishy Motorsports, the first of the big fish. Alongside him, we have Cameron Jones. And with Cameron, we have on the next row, Michael Whiting, the big fish himself, and then Anthony Visma, 16th from Accelerate Racing in 16th. Dave Coleman from Fishy Motorsports in 17th. And then we have in 18th, Troy Maguire. And then 19th, Dave Kirby from Fishy, and then Christian Smart in 20th, one of the men sharing the grid points lead in this the Super 2 series. John Rigby in 21st, Ash Borella in 22nd. Joe Bell, great result for him in 23rd alongside Sheedy. As we continue down this grid, say it was big. We've got Craig Schultz, the other man leading the Super 2s, alongside Ollie Patterson. Jamie Dyke from Fishy Motorsports is back with us this week after being away, and he's alongside Jaden Russell. Blair Van Reef from WK&P has done very well to put himself in 29th, and then Tim Mulford is in 30th from Phoenix Racing, and then WK&P's Blanchard in 31st. Bunky Miller is sitting in 32nd, and then we've got Scott McKenzie, and after that we've got Jamie McKnight and Synergy Sim Racing back and joining us in the pack. And then after that, we've got Glenn Boyce in 35th. 36th is Jason Dunn. Great to have Dunny with us again tonight as well. And then we have Matty Brunt from Synergy Sim Racing, Matty Mascord from Synergy Sim Racing, and then we have Race Control Seb, Race Control Reg, Race Control Rich Borella in the safety car. And then we have after that Connor Nixon. We didn't set a time. So we definitely have a full house on the grid tonight. And it will be interesting how these boys survive turn one. As they are sitting on the grid, we're about to go green. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights. Lights are out. Scott gets a good jump. It looks like Freya's going to tuck in behind. As the boys definitely all come through turn one. So far, everyone fairly clean. Jared Filsell managed to get himself in the back of the pack there, by the way, I believe, after missing qualifying. We've already got one incident with car 666, Funky Miller and Mulford. Leave that to Race Control. Coming down, the first time through Firestone, and it is very balanced. But James Scott definitely getting a good jump here. Jordan Ross tucked up behind Freya. And it looks like Kuznetsov's managed to get himself past Briggs. So that's a good start there. And just keep a bit of an eye on what's going on in the background. And a few little incidences happening, but we'll keep an eye on that. Kuznetsov and Rudd changing spots back a little bit as well. So this pack a little bit further back is definitely hottening up. And too wide, and definitely a good battle going on here with Rudd, and an incident being noted again. I'm getting a lot of information on the screen from Race Control, but these boys definitely in the thick of a good battle here a little bit further back. Jordan Ross now, though, has managed to get himself nearly 2 seconds up the road from Briggs. But as we finish lap one, start lap two, Scott, Freya, Ross, Briggs. At the podium, blocked out at the moment, well and truly by Synergy Sim Racing. So definitely an epic battle. And some good results a bit further down the list as well. Anthony Visma sitting in 16th at the moment, leading the Super 2 cars. And Mark is still battling to try and get himself sorted. He's still having some iRacing issues. So hopefully we'll have Mark join us shortly. Don't forget, these boys have got to make one compulsory stop on this race. and no one has ducked in yet to do that. And a couple of racing instances already been called, but no one's been penalised yet. So all happening. So just going to go a little bit further back where some of the actions are. Sean McNamara, he's tucked well and truly up behind Brad Radu, and Damien Johnstone keeping a bit of pressure on him. Let's jump on board with Macca. Have a look at what he's seeing in front of him. And hear the tyres screaming coming around the last corner. Oh, Kuznets got a lapped car coming into that, but just Radu there was just all slide. Did very well to keep it under control. And diving down in. Hey, definitely a battle and a half from McNamara's perspective. He's sitting in 8th. His two teammates in front of him. And definitely battling away. Jack Boyd, he's back again tonight. He's a guy fairly quick. Another one of the Synergy stable lads. See him, he's in this battle as well, tucked right up behind Damien Johnstone, with Warboys tucked in behind him as well. And Kuznetsov wide again. And lets McNamara through. So definitely happening all around the track. Might just go back a little bit while we've got an opportunity to see if we can find the man who is leading the charge for the Super 2 boys, Mr. Visma. Visma tucked up in front of Dave Coleman behind Michael Whiting. Dave's a bit racy there coming out of turn 2. And definitely doing very well. It's Mr. Visma. And Mr. Coleman, of course, the man who's sitting 3rd in that series, tucked up behind him. Roy Maguire in this battle as well. Just going to jump back up on that Radu battle. Of course, McNamara's gotten through. He's taken off a bit. He's 1.4 seconds up the road now. You just see if Radu's got his tyres under control. Or he's still a bit slidey. As we jump on board with Damien Johnstone. Great little battle here with these boys. It's a very difficult track to get past somebody. Only really probably 2, possibly 3 genuine overtaking areas on this circuit. And just noting that we've got Russell, McKnight and Dunn have already made their stops. Don't forget, we've got 1 compulsory pit stop this race. Unset limit on tyres. That's not going to be an issue for the lads. And then, of course, the pit stops need to be a situation where the car goes up on the jacks. So if you take 4 tyres, no fuel, or take fuel, tyres, whatever you do, the car just has to get up on the jacks. It'll be interesting to see how the pit stops unfold. And Johnstone doing really well. We might jump a bit further back, have a look at a few more boys. I've been watching that Visma pack. And looks like Troy Maguire and Coleman have gotten through on Visma, so I'm not sure if anything happened to Anthony. I think they've both legitimately got through, but a nice little battle pack in this group here. They are all battling it out hard, sort of going back through Kirby, Smart, Sheedy, Dyke, Schultz. So the Super 2 boys battling just as hard as the lads up the front are. As we might jump back up on Rick. Snetsov is still got Dylan Rudd tucked up behind him. But these boys have dropped off the back a little bit of Briggsy. Adam Briggs sitting in fourth. So top four cars have pulled out a bit. Scott's now got a 1.5 second gap from Brea and then Ross. Further back, got a little bit of damage on the front of Rick Snetsov's car though. That might be hampering his speed. He may actually be holding up Rudd just that little bit with that damage. And look on the money here, it looks like Rudd's about to make a move. And Funky Miller's been in a crash. I'll just have a look what's happened to Funky. On the Supercheap Auto replay, this is coming down into turn 3, down in the Firestone. And Funky's just overshot it and hit the barrier. A little bit unlucky there from the Pecky's driver. Right, Kuznetsov. That car is a bit damaged. Just going to go back to that Jack Boyd battle again. So Jack's still in the thick of it there with a fair line behind him. Got Warboys, Hobson, Jones, Freeman. These boys all staggered back a little bit here. All still fairly bunched up and close together. Of course, Cam Jones in 13th, trying to get his way through this group. He's only up one spot. Hobbo in front of him. Hobbo's car with a little bit of paint damage as well. Something we don't see too often. Hobbo, of course, the only guy to win 2 championships back-to-back. The history of the series. And definitely doing relatively well here, still just outside the top 10. Of course, the man we haven't talked about, he's working his way back up through the pack. Of course, he's the reigning Logitech G Pro Series champion, Jared Filsell. Jared, of course, missed qualifying, started up the back, and he has worked his way up 20 spots for that move on Jamie Dyke. So he is definitely working very hard here. Good to see. Big pack of cars in front of him though. He's coming onto this Sheedy, Smart, Kirby, Maguire, Visma battle. So tough ask for a driver of his standard on a track where there's not much room to play. So just going to jump back up onto Jack Boyd again. He's still got Warboys tucked up behind him. Definitely a battle and a half of these lads. This is tough going out here, particularly if you're in a train like this. Saying earlier, it's hard to find that spot to get past. As they come over the bridge, now down the strand. So, see these guys, it looks like they're all fairly settled at the moment. And continue that group, another accident with Jaden Russell. So definitely a good battle pack. As might just go back, have a look where Phil Sellies is up 22 spots now. nearly tucked up on the back of Chris Smart. Michael Whiting is one of the first leaders in the top 20 to peel into the pits. So we're starting to see them unfold. It's back on with Damien Johnstone. Still got this train tucked up behind Radu as well. A few interesting strategies in the old pit stops coming up, I think. You take a set of tyres, do you not? You just put the litre of fuel in, just put the car up on the jacks. It'll be interesting to see what these boys all do. As Michael Whiting's back out on track. We had an incident with Blair Van Ree. Let's have a look what Blair's got up to. Supercheap Auto replay. Another one coming down into Firestone, down into turn 3.
Control 307.
He's bounced her off the tyre wall there.
Yeah, can you have a look at that, mate? I think it was about turn 4, 5 or something like that.
He's definitely stuck there, and that's what happens. And that's how you get safety cars around this place.
Could be.
Not a great spot to have an accident down there. Let's keep a little bit of an eye on the track map. Looks like they've all gotten themselves moving again, though. Still waiting to see. Thomas Freeman's the next guy to peel into the pits. Always drives with a fairly crafty race strategy, does Thomas Freeman from Fishy Motorsports. I'll be intrigued to see where he goes with that, as we've got Cam Jones having a look on Warboys here. Warboys going very defensive into turn 3. And it looks like Jack Boyd's trying to find his way around as well. It's going to jump back up the front. Gap between Ross and Freya is closed down a little bit. That's now down to 0.7 of a second. Of course, lap 10 at 28, not even the halfway point yet. As I said, some of these boys might be a little bit hard on their tyres. Interesting to see how they unfold. Definitely been a tough battle here. Maintains that gap between Freya and Ross. Riggsy's about 2.5 seconds back the green car that we can see down the straight there. And then we've got Kuznetsov behind him. Then after that, we drop back into Sean McNamara. He's nicely tucked up in that battle pack there. I'm just going to quickly come back to Phil Cell. Phil Cell's caught up to this group here. Coming up the inside of Visma. This is a great drive from Jared. Hangs on to that one. Very good car control. The Pro Champ. And doing really well. As he now hunts down Maguire, up 26 spots into 16th. So we'll keep an eye on that one as he now just gets Maguire. Make that 15th. So next man up the road, Dave Coleman. That's a 4-second drive, so we might jump back up the road ourselves. Let's have a look at Jack Boyd's getting on. Still tucked up behind Radu. Surely got to be thinking now of the prospect of, I don't think they get fast repairs, Pete Keller. And we just need to be able to maybe jump in the pits early, go the undercut, tucked up behind somebody. That's what you got to be start thinking to yourself now. Been asked about pit times. I'll just throw them up on the screen now. That's Not pit times to the top 10, so I have to drop back to where the guys that have pitted are. So I might jump on with Thomas Freeman. Hobbo's listened to what I've said. Hobbo's in the pits now. He's just done a 9.8 stop, 9.7 for Freeman. Whiting was 10.2, so they're all stopping about that same time. It looks like based off that, they're pretty much taking tyres. Hobbo's just come back out in 26 and he's tucked up behind Freeman. So Freeman going in has got a jump there with the undercut. Just interesting to see how that's played out for him. Now these boys here battling at home. So definitely all happening there. Damien Johnstone, he's still got Cam Jones up behind him. Well, boys has dropped off a little bit from these guys. You're looking at some fuel saving or looking at after the car a little bit. Definitely a battle pack and a half. Radu still under pressure, of course, from Jack Boyd. And Cam Jones has peeled off into the pits. So we're starting to see a few of these boys get those pit stops out of the way. Very interesting to see how these lead boys play this out. Boyd getting a little bit racy, has a little bit of a look. And car incident. And jump back, have a look how Chris Smart's getting on. Under a lot of pressure at the moment. Putting a lot of pressure on Troy Maguire at the moment. That's definitely almost go time for him. Let's move a little bit further back from Smart. So you get onto this. Oh, Rado's crashed. He's going to jump on. Supercheap Auto replay. What's happened? He's coming down the strand. Coming to the casino cricket pitch area. Radu's miscalculated his braking point. Taking the run off. That is going to be costly. That has hurt. He has now dropped himself all the way down the order from where he was. Radu's now back in 19th spot. And Maguire under a lot of pressure from Smart still. And I'll try again. Are you with me, Mark?
I think I've resolved my issues and I'm in here. So good evening to everybody. Sorry I'm late, but I'm here now.
That's all right. You've been an epic drive from James Scott so far. He's managed to pull out from Tom Freer. Jordan Ross sitting in third. Briggsy in fourth. But the man of the talking point, of course, is Jared Filsell. He's about half that gap already now to Dave Coleman. He's sitting up in 12th. He started in 42nd. So it's been a great drive from Jared. Very composed, very quick. Yeah, very impressed at the moment with how Jared's going.
Yeah, to make all them spots up on a track like this is certainly impressive, and clearly he's got some good speed. So watch out race 2 if he keeps climbing the ladder here and finishes well.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how he goes. He's just got Coleman and Warboys to get himself into the top 10. Still plenty of laps left in this one. I've only just reached half race distance, so it'd be very interesting to see how he finishes this one off. So out of the pit stop guys, we've seen as, here they go, speak of the devil, Rudd, Kuznetsov and McNamara in. 9.5 boys saying the time is now. As we've seen in previous races, the Synergy Sim Racing boys like to go long. So, but we'll see how the undercut works for those boys. War boys in as well. The leader of our pit stop guys at the moment, of course, is Cam Jones. So he did go in a little bit earlier. Cam went in on lap 12. So we can see where Cam goes, where the War Boys and Co can get out in front. And it's looking like they won't. So he's going to have, Kuznetsov, Rudd and McNamara have snuck out in front of him. But Freeman and Hobson are behind still. War Boys will tuck in behind Hobbo. Michael Whiting is the next man back in 19th. So, of course, we've now got this super long Synergy Sim Racing train of Scott, Freer, Ross, Briggs, Boyd, Johnston. So we've got 7 cars there. I think as a team, you might try and cover a few of these lads.
Yeah, that's a bit of domination there by the Synergy Sim Racing boys to hold all them spots. Dave Coleman has been passed by Jared Feisel, I believe, as well.
Yep. Jared now moves himself into 7th. So definitely going to see a good end to this race. See where Jared can get himself to. He's now 7 seconds behind John Stone though, so he's got a bit of work to do. But he's definitely got the head down and pedaling pretty hard. So as Boyd and John Stone now go into the pits. Bill Cell now got a fair bit of clear track in front of him. Last lap was a 1:31.21. Briggsy was a 1:31.4. 1:31.2 to Ross, so Ross matching his pace. And then Freer was in a 1:39.7. And Bill Cell was just a smidge behind Scott, who was a 1:31.1. So definitely running the pace of the leaders. It's Phil Cell, but a long way to go to close some of those gaps down. 17 seconds back from him.
Yeah, I'm sure he's used up a lot of the car and driving as hard as he has been, and there's not too many cars out there that don't have marks on them at the moment either.
It's definitely been a bit of hard work for a few of these lads. Race control been kept reasonably busy so far as well. As we might just jump on with Craig Schultz. Because Craig's still got a pit. As Briggsy goes in. So Schultz at the moment, he's our lead Super 2 driver. A lot of battle wounds on that 9.5 livery. It's doing relatively well as Craig's having a good season so far. Briggsy tumbling down the order now. See where he ends up with Kuznetsov. Here comes Rick. Adam on pit exit. It's a fairly quick pit exit here, so Briggsy will wind up being, I'd say, roughly about 1.2 seconds ahead. So that gives gives a carrot for the boys to chase. I'll keep an eye on that battle. And McNamara not too far behind Kuznetsov with Rudd. So these 9.5 boys here really need to work together. Push each other along. And make the most of catching these lads in front.
Yeah, the 9.5 boys are line astern there, and I'm just wondering how distracting that might be to be tucked up behind somebody else for so long. Certainly I wouldn't be liking that, but everybody races differently. They're doing a good job, and yeah, they're all sitting inside the top 10, so not too many complaints from them, I wouldn't think.
No, I don't think so. We might just quickly have a look, going back to our Super 2 championship. Our championship leader, Schultz and Smart, has had an accident, so let's just have a look at Supercheap Auto replay, have a look what's happened to Smarty. Coming down, of course, into turn 3. He's misjudged that one as well, in a bit deep, into the cushion. And does he get it going? Looks like he does. Gets it out nice and safe. Nice work. Ooh, nice work, Mr. Smart. Because you've got a fair bit of rubber down in that corner, you actually don't get, I think, a very big penalty. I think you're going to get like a 1x or a 2x. A little bit of luck there. So Rudd here being put under a fair bit of pressure. Sean McNamara, sorry, being put under a fair bit of pressure from Dylan Rudd. Bit of a team battle. Might have a look how Hobbo's getting on. Hobbo, another one tucked up behind his teammate, Damien Johnstone. He's down 3 spots. Still waiting for Coleman and Philsell to pit. And Scott as well. I feel these lads still need to come in for that stop as Freo peels off. He's the first one to come in. Scott's going to go one more. Ross the boss is in, our championship leader. And what does Phil Cell do? He's coming around now. And I think we just had a tow call. Well, there we go. We are on.
Tim Mulford requesting a tow there, so safety car coming out on track.
Jared just missing it. Just missed the call by a second.
Stationary in before the correction turn 3, 4, 5 area in the middle of the track. All cars be cautious.
Of course, that was Mulford. Just going to jump on Supercheap Auto replay. It's an engine blue. And stuck on the circuit there.
Sorry, Jordan, 143, you may pass the safety car.
Let's turn the chat down a little bit. So, bit of a tough luck there for Timmy Mulford. It's Scott and Phil Cell here. We've got to get in quick and get out. And this will make it fun for the safety car team. Make sure they pick up the leader here. James Scott, he's about to peel into the pits. He's in. Phil Cell will be the next man.
Right, hang on, I'm going to get out of it. Just let your fire card. 05, that's on them. I've given fair warning. That's on them. You say we are.
And we're going to see Phil Cell in. Coleman will be in too. Let me see how Coleman gets out of this. Dave Coleman's in, next man, coming down track. He's in as well. As we jump on with Tom Freo. This will be the man, potentially. I think Scott's already out. So Scott will be the race leader. Tom Freo is going to pick up P2. Great effort from Tom. Phil Cell, waiting for him to roll back out on track. He's rolling down pit lane now. Of course, not qualifying. He's up the back of the pit lane. And he's going to roll himself out in 8th, up 34 spots. So,
yeah, not a bad effort.
Not a bad effort at all. And of course, the safety car closes this all back up for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a big train now. Tim Mulford actually got hit while he was sitting there on track waiting for the tow from race control. So I think it was Brenton Hobson that actually just clipped him. So hopefully Hobbo hasn't got too much damage from it.
Let's see if that's shown up. We might have a look. I may have that in the replay. Oh, guy's going everywhere. Oh, big clip from Hobson. So that's a very tough one there. And might just do a little bit of camera trickery. Jump on board the Bay 21 Mercedes safety car. Couple lap traffic getting around. It's going to do a little bit of investigation using the trickery of our drones. Hobson doesn't look like he's got much damage there, so I don't think he got too much damage out of that. Let's jump back on the front of the safety car train. And of course the big West End Motor Group banner on the safety car as well. Great having the West End Motor Group part of the series. And of course the West End Motor Group consists of 2 Easy Finance, Parramatta Mazda, Parramatta Isuzu Utes, Parramatta Peugeot Professional, Parramatta City of Vale and Great Wall Motors, and of course Blacktown Mazda and Blacktown City of Vale and Great Wall Motors. So if you're in that Sydney basin or heading down Church Street, Parramatta, drop in and have a chat to the boys, and definitely they will help you out as much as they help us out in sponsoring our league, which is greatly appreciated. So definitely a battle and a half here as these guys get ready to go again. Enjoying this breather, but we're going to have a 7-lap dash.
Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty fiercely contested these last 7 laps, John.
Of course, there's that old adage,
Frame remains to the
safety
right.
cars breed safety cars as well.
Right, car 121, you may pass on the left. Car 121, you may pass on the left.
Still waving cars around, so see what happens. A long train of cars, of course. We've got 38 cars in this race, or 37 cars in this race. These boys all battling away quite well so far. It's been really good up the front. Synergy Sim Racing lads blocking out the first 4 positions where they have not been overly contested. Then we've got after that the 9-5 crew with Rich Knetsov, McNamara and Rudd. Keep your eyes out for Jared Philsell to try and get past those boys quick, sitting in 8th. Cam Jones is sitting in 9th from 9-5 as well, and then Jack Boyd from Synergy sitting in 10th. Dave Coleman in 11th from Fishy, alongside teammate Thomas Freeman in 12th. And then Damien Johnstone, Hobson, Whiting, Visma, Sheedy, Dyke, Smart, Kirby, Rigby, Warboys. That rounds out our top 22. And safety car will be in this lap.
Yeah, Dave Coleman doing a great job in 11th spot there. We've got a few very quick drivers mired in that mid-pack there, so it's going to be pretty interesting to see how this one unfolds.
It's going to be really interesting. It's got a fair chance we may see the safety car out again, I reckon. A few of these boys have been fighting pretty hard in that mid-pack. The safety car pulls away. Of course, a big thank you too to Bay 21 Coffee Beans for sponsoring our safety car. It's going to hold him up is James Scott. He's holding them up. He's away. The green flag racing. Really get a huge jump on Freya. Ross looks like he's tucked in. Now he's starting to get a bit of legs there. Let's jump back on with Jordan Ross, our championship leader. See the cars all spreading out down the back there. A little bit of a rear lock up there, I think, from Freya.
Like Jared Faisal already passed Dylan Rudd there, going down the straight.
Yep, tucked up behind McNamara already. Cam Jones and Jack Boyd noted as well. These lads here definitely stretching their legs. Keep an eye on Phil Sell. And just going to roll back. Cam Jones, he's under a bit of pressure, or putting a bit of pressure on Jack Boyd still, and got Coleman putting some pressure back on him. Let's go jump back on Jared. He is greatly tucked up in here now behind McNamara. He'll be looking for a move. I expect it to come down into turn 3. What does McNamara do? How does he defend? Great drive there. So much more drive out of the corners as Phil Sell gets the job done. Moves himself now up into 6th. Kuznetsov, next car in front.
Sean McNamara really had no defence there at all.
No.
He ended up just giving Jared...
Oh, Boyd, and it's on. It's happening.
Looked like Boyd and Cam Jones back there.
Yep. Boyd, Cam Jones, Warboys is now spun as well. Oh, no one's called for a safety car yet. Mascoot's involved in it as well. Jamie Dyke, he was in there somewhere as well. I might leave that one to after the race. We'll come back and try and unpack that. There's Steve Murray saying they might have safe, fast repairs. Yeah, might have been given one tonight, being the concrete jungle. As we might just jump back up. Rich Kuznetsov now under a lot of pressure from Phil Sell. Phil Sell tucked right up under that wing. And James Scott just set the fastest lap of the race. There. Tucked right up behind. Kuznetsov making himself a harder target than what McNamara was, but not too far away to go.
No, Rick there was the equal to Jared, getting onto the straight there, coming down into turn 3, so it didn't leave Jared any options, but to say he tucked up behind him.
Might just see if we can have a quick look at this Thomas Freeman incident that was earlier. I'm just going to jump on the Supercheap Auto replay and we'll jump straight back. I think it was Freeman and Boyd got caught up in that Jones battle. And then there's cars all over the track. Very hard to pick up in the chopper. But yeah, definitely not an easy one for a few boys there.
It looked like Cam Jones had got up the inside, but didn't quite have the room to complete the move, and him and Boyd touched, and Thomas Freeman, unfortunately, innocent party in that one.
Yeah, very tough. Hard night of racing in the concrete jungle that Belle Isle is. Let's see what Phil Sell can do this time. Having a look. Here he comes. Kuznetsov opens the door. Not going to fight it. You have to play another day, as they say. And definitely battling on. Up 25 or 28. This one's starting to wind down. Phil Sell now completes the top 5 for Synergy Sim Racing. Mr. Keller here will be happy out there in the chat with this one.
Yeah, that's quite a dominant performance from the Synergy boys.
Yeah, definitely. It's just going to go back a little bit. Schultz and Rigby. This is some of our Super 2 boys getting amongst it.
Yeah, I think we've seen most weeks Craig Schultz and Sean Rigby do battle head-to-head in the Super 2 part of the series. So it's good to see that they're out there trying to swap paints again and racing hard. So I think, like I said, we've seen these boys battle every week.
Yeah, they absolutely go hard. To answer Brad Newman, is that illegitimate father or he's your dad? It's continuing on. Looks like Johnstone and Hobson having a little battle there. But Phil Sell now tucking up onto the back behind Briggs. Pit lane penalty. Cameron Jones. That would be for that incident that we saw earlier.
Yeah, that's a tough one on Cam. I felt like he had a fair amount of car up the inside there and had his nose cut off, but race control get to view it from all angles, so...
Yeah, we only got to see it through the trees, unfortunately. Great little drive. Thanks for that, Brad. And I reckon there could be another move on here. Of course, the golden rule of motorsport, you don't take your teammate out. And I do know as well, there's no team orders at SSR. He sweeps around. Tom Freya, he's under a little bit of pressure as well. He's got Jordan Ross not too far behind him. James Scott 2 seconds out from Tom now. So Tom's got a fair bit of work to do if he wants to try and catch James. And he has to keep, as you see, Phil's in the background making the move. So these two, Freya and Ross, got to get going. Only 2 laps left. Won't be enough time, I don't think.
No, there's only a lap and a half left now, so I think the boys in front are safe. But good to see Tom Freya up there. He's usually battling it out from the rear of grid with his epic passing races, but he obviously qualified well tonight, and he's doing a great job in P2.
He's done well. Started P2 as well. Story of the night, going from back to front. They proving he can drive just as fast up the front as he can coming through the field.
Yeah, he just might be a championship contender if he qualified every week. In fact, I'm sure he would be a championship contender. He's got plenty of speed, and he's a great racer. So, you know, maybe he needs to rethink his strategy.
Definitely. Jared Filsell's got that gap down to a second and a half. He's trying to close that, but James Scott has just taken the white flag to be his last circuit around the track for Heat 1. So definitely doing very well. You can see that gap. Interesting to see how Scott goes in the next race. Of course, we've got one more to come. Night's not done yet. Only done half the deed. But there's been some other good drives as well. Wade Sheedy, one of our Super 2 boys. He's up 10 spots in the 14th. Jamie Dyke, of course, up 11 spots in the 16th. Chris Blanchard's up 10 spots into 21st, and Matty Mascord's up 11 in the 27th. So some big gains there amongst the group.
Yeah, absolutely, some big gains and a couple of big losses as well, unfortunately for some drivers. But yeah, the boys in Super 2 do an excellent job, and also Dave Coleman, he's found his way into the top 10, so it's a great drive from Dave.
Yeah, he did well going long, capitalised on the safety car. But it's this man here coming around. He's going to take, lets it hang out as well. He knows he's done a good job. James Scott comes across P1, the Heat 1. Tom Freya with a great drive, brings it home in 2. Jordan Ross in 3rd. Great drive from the championship leader, Jared Filsell. Gets Briggsy at the end there and into 4th. A great drive for Jared, up 38 spots. Briggsy in 5th. I don't think he'd be too unhappy with that. It's Netsov in 6th. McNamara in 7th. Dylan Rudd was 8th. Dave Coleman, as we said, top 10 finish. Great drive from Dave. Of course, that's the leader of our Super 2s, I believe. So that is a great effort from Dave. As I said, capitalised on the strategy. As these boys all ducking out of the server as quick as they can at the moment. And then after Dave, we had Cam Jones in the top 10, but I think there's a pit lane penalty or post-race penalty hanging over his head there. Then we've got Damien Johnstone in 11, Michael Whiting, the big fish from Fishy Motorsports, in 12th. Hobbo in 13th, Wayne Sheedy in 14th, another great drive from the Super 2 boys. Christian Smart in 15th, another Super 2 boys. Jamie Dyke in 16th, Craig Schultz in 17th, another one of the Super 2s. Dave Kirby in 18th, Brad Radu ended up in 19th, and Sean Rigby rounds out our top 10. That was an epic race, Mark.
Yeah, I'm sorry I missed the first 10 laps or so, or 15 laps, whatever it was. But yeah, great racing in the end. Jared Feisel, what can you say about his speed? It's just phenomenal. I'm sure James Scott would prefer that he finished a little bit further back, but going to provide some exciting racing for us in this second race.
Yeah, I've set the grid timer to 5 minutes, guys.
Okay, grid time's been set to 5 minutes. So what we might do is we might quickly go to a quick 60-second ad, and then we'll be back to read through the grid.
There's no arguing that people love their cars.
We weren't arguing.
They talk about their cars, sing about their cars. Some people even look like their car. Whether it's an old car, new old car, fast car, family car, electric car, race car, two-wheel car, no-wheel car, or a car you know's parked around here somewhere. People who love their cars love to tinker with them. Some people tinker big, some people tinker small, some people tinker some degree between those two variables.
Whose voice is that?
And that's where Supercheap Auto comes in. We've been helping people tinker for 50 years. For people like Bill, Lucy, Kevin, other Kevin.
Oi, get off my car!
Didn't catch this guy's name.
It's Kevin.
Not Patrick. He doesn't shop with us. Whoever you are, whatever you drive, we'll help you make it super. Because super is our middle name. Well, technically it's our first.
Calf and
Hey, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, as we get ready for round two. Seb putting penalties up in front. Hard for me to do this, but on pole we have James Scott alongside Tom Freer, and then after that we have Jordan Ross in P3 with Jared Filsell, the man to watch for in this race. I think Scott way, and P5 we've got Adam Briggsomson racing alongside the first of the 9-5 boys, Rick Nutsov, Sean McNamara in 7, Dylan Rudd in 8th. Dave Coleman is sitting back there in 9th. And then we also have, after that, in 10th, Damien Johnstone and Dave Coleman on the row, the 5th row. Michael Whiting, Brenton Hobson on the 6th row. And then we go over the page. We've got Wade Sheedy in 13th, Chris Smart in 14th, Jamie Dyke in 15th alongside Craig Schultz from 9-5s in 16th. Dave Kirby from Mishi Motorsports in 17th alongside 9-5's Brad Rattu. Sean Rigby, great effort for him getting to the top 10 alongside WK&P's Chris Blanchard. Brad Dobell in 21st and then Ollie Patterson in 22nd. Thomas Freeman all the way back in 23rd alongside Warboys in 24th. Those two caught up in that major incident that we saw earlier. And then after that, we've got Scott McKenzie and Matty Mascoud in 25th, 26th, 27th, Cam Jones, Ash Borella in 28th. That's a great effort from Ash to get himself there. 29th for Glenn Boyce, Jason Dunn in 30th. Troy Maguire is in 31st. Jack Boyd has ended up in 32nd. Anthony Visma in 33rd alongside Phoenix Racing's Timmy Mulford. And then after that, we've got Blair Van Ree in 35th, Funky Miller in 36th. And over the page, we then have Jaden Russell in 37, Jamie McKnight in 38th, who didn't finish the first race. And then we've got safety car is Richie Borella, Matty Brunt sitting in 40th, and then Seb and Reg in race control, and Connor Nixon raced the first heat. So it is going to be a classy field again, as about to get underway shortly. So too far away from this race start.
Ladies and gentlemen, 1 minute. Reminder, there is another compulsory pit stop in race 2.
So 1 minute to go. Another compulsory pit stop in this race.
Compulsory pit stop. Grid positions carried over from the previous race.
So the cars are gridding now, so we're not too far away. And looking forward to seeing what these boys can do or can't do. Waiting for James, Jared to get on the grid. Boys come in still in this last minute. Don't be surprised if we get another safety car. Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if we see Jared Filsell get through Ross and Freer in these first couple of laps. Too far away now. Everyone's on the grid. As we're about to go. Got one red light. 2, 3, 4, 5. Green flag. We're racing. And that's a great start from James Scott. That's one of the better ones we've seen from him for a while. Jordan Ross under a lot of pressure from Freya. He manages to get through the door. And Philcell is the man to watch a little bit further back. Philcell going to the outside already. Will he have the legs to get in the turn 3? Side by side, they both all get through safely. Let's just stay on here. Philcell has been touched by his teammate. He's into the wall. Doesn't appear to be too much damage. We wouldn't be happy about that. Cars diving all around the back there. Adam Briggs looks like he may lost a few spots earlier here in this mix. Definitely some good battling going on in the background. There's still... It's definitely allowed Ross to get away. Just gonna on that up, and Dylan Rudd still tucked up behind these boys. A few instances down the back. Worry about a bit later. See race control going into overdrive. Actually, telling fibs, it's all automated for them now. They get the notes just pop up automatically. Yeah. Yeah, I'd love to be a fly on the wall with what Jordan Ross would have to say about that. But they don't call him Ross the boss for no reason. Anyway, he's still sitting in second spot, so he's battling away still. Tom Ferrer down one. James Scott definitely cleared out. Philcell, I think, is starting to get settled into this train here. James Scott just did a 1:30.066. He was 2/10 faster than everybody else. That is some great driving from James. In very good form. Let's jump on with Hobbo. Hobbo tucked up behind Johnstone. He's rounding out our top 10. And Briggsy, he's caught up in a sandwich. Warboys and Radu in an accident. And that's both dropping many places. Just going to jump onto the Supercheap Auto replay. Have a look at that one. That's Radu. There's Warboys. Oh, lap traffic inside. That slow car. That does not make life easy for either driver there. Both of them facing the wrong way. Yeah. Yep. A few boys facing the wrong direction. Help the cause. Jump on with Jordan Ross. He's still looking quite comfortable in front of Freya here. Only lap 4 of 28, still a long way to go. These lads definitely battling in behind them. They all would have been looking for the door to open up for that safety car. he's definitely in good form. Yeah, definitely take it. Might just jump on with Jared. Definitely tucked up behind Kuznetsov. Up 2 spots, of course, sitting in 4th. Very composed. I might just go back, have a look at how Dave Coleman's getting on. Dave's down 12 spots. Of course, that Super 2 Championship hotly contested. So definitely need to be keeping an eye on Craig Schultz, Chris Smart, both in 13th and 15th respectively. They definitely got Rigby in front, another one of the Super 2 drivers. These boys definitely having a good battle. Yeah, Wade's having a cracker. As Rick's just dropped a 10th. Now has Phil Sell all over the back of him. And McNamara hanging on to the back of this group too. That 5 of 28. And pit lane penalty. Car 19, contact on Blanchard. They're just trying to find that one. Work out who's 19. Now he had a 019, but anyway, which is Cam Jones is in the pits at the moment. Let's stay on this battle here. Still waiting for Phil Sell to make a move. Looks like he's looking after the car a bit more. See? So War Boys, he's all the way back down in 28th. Not having a great night as Blake. He's tucked up behind Jason Dunn at the moment. Damage on the front of the car there. Cam Jones has jumped to pits. Not sure what's going on there. And then jumped the pits, so. Anyway, continuing on. Looks like where War Boys is. Jump back up with Rick. Still got the Phil Sell train behind him. That's all you can do. That incident we saw with War Boys and Radda, it's just been classified as a racing incident. What I thought would be the case with the slow car on the outside. Surprising the lads. Rolling through. Briggsy a little bit further up the back here. He's now starting to put a bit of pressure on Dylan Rudd. Of course, Adam down 3 spots in this heat. Bit caught out in the opening laps. Yeah, the lad's working hard. See if we can get a run on Dylan. We'll come back and have a look at that one. Jump back up on Rick, who's still got Bill Cell tucked up behind him. Yeah, definitely great driving by Rick. It's good to see. Might go back. We did talk about Wayne Sheedy sitting in 12th. Wayne, of course, leading our Super 2 category at the moment. Having a drive. Fantastic to see. He's got Christian Smart tucked up behind him. He's a second and a bit back. Christian's in split 2 lads, from what I've read in the spreadsheet earlier. Running the wrong banner tonight. And Dylan Rudd, he's now coming under a lot of pressure. Can Briggsy get it done? Oh, yes. That is a classy move. Yeah, definitely some great driving. Kuznetsov is doing really well too. Still holding off that pressure from Phil Sell. Freeman, the first person to blink, he's into the pits already. Now, look. There you go. Yeah, pit lane penalty called in for Ollie Patterson for contact with Visma. Of course, Visma, he's under a lot of pressure at the moment. Yeah, we're getting the job done, sorry. Bit pressure at the moment, also getting the job done on Borella. He's missing the bonnet. Looking very second hand there, Ash. Big shout out to Josh Borella too, who's watching as well. And gonna jump back up on Rick, keep an eye on that one there, and I'll just Cam Jones is out of the race as well. Steve Murray questioning if Phil Sells cooked his rear tyres earlier. The big slide that he had. And I think that might fix Mark up talking now, so apologies for that one, guys.
Yeah, I think Joe just can't find a way past. I think Rick Kuznetsov in front of him's driving an exceptional race here. We know Rick's always a good, quick driver, and he's at the moment he's matching Jared and Tom Freer in front of him. So I just don't think Jared's, there's nothing Jared can do about it at the moment. He just he can't get a toe down the straight because Rick's getting a toe off Tom Freer. So yeah, they're just nose to tail. They're in a bit of a train that they can't get out of at the moment.
Yeah, it's going to be tough going. We'll see what happens with the pit stops. Go early, try the undercut, but as you said, you run that risk of that safety car. Definitely an issue. Might just jump back on with Tom Freer, who's the one that did go early, so you can wind up with this problem as well, where you're stuck in traffic. He seems trying to work his way around. Ben Boyce. The light flashing going on. And gets the job done. So keep an eye on that. Freeman's now in the 24th. Michael Whiting still under a lot of pressure from Wade Sheedy. So that is a great little drive here from Wade. Running just on the outside of the top 10. And Hobson and Rudd just had an accident. Gonna see if I can fix that one up. Come back to that. Supercheap Auto replay. And Rudd coming down into turn 4. He's hit the cushion. One's through. Hobson's into it. Looks like Ollie Patterson's into it as well. Few boys getting stuck there. Not a great place to be parked. Another accident further up. Trying to get control. Second time we've seen that tonight. As we said, this place can be brutal.
Yeah, once you end up in the wall, you just plummet down the order. You just sit there waiting for cars to go past so you can rejoin the race safely, and Dylan's dropped all the way down to 20th place, so very costly.
Yeah, very costly. Hobson's gone into the pits early. Schultz and Smart's in there as well. Jump back on here with Jordan Ross sitting in P2. Teamship leader at the moment. He'd be happy with this. He'd finish in P2. I think he'd be happy to take that away for the night. Ella's saying he can't park there. I think he was just waiting for a mate. But Jordan doing really well. And Tom Ferreira tucked up behind. We've got Phil Sell trying to work his magic as well. But he doesn't seem to be making many inroads into Kuznetsov. And Freya has a little bit of a look here. And Sheedy and Whiting. Been an incident further back. Might go to the replay there, have a quick look. It's all happening. Of course, this is our...
Michael Whiting, sorry, John Michael Whiting's requested a tow, so we may see the safety car.
Yeah. Oh, in the wall. That was a big hit. Big hit on Whiting. That is a safety car. That is definitely coming out. Oh, another clip. It's time from one of the 9.5 boys. Hopefully that wasn't Schultz. That just opens up that battle again in that P2s, in that Super 2 class. As we go back to live picks, we've got Scott, Ross, Freya, Kuznetsov. All the boys are in the pits. So Phil Sell takes the fast repair. They've all got one by the looks. And who's first man back out on track? James Scott. Of course, everybody would be in this time. You'd be crazy not to come in. But James Scott's going to pick up Richie Borella in the mean machine.
Rick Kuznetsov was able to jump Tom Freya there.
That's too. That's a great result there. McNamara Briggs still in 7th. Hobbo up into 9th. Tom Freya out of all that because of the fact that early stop. He's managed to get himself up 13 spots in the 10th, so Tom will be pretty happy with that. As nearly everyone else is now still that pit lane. Jump on the drone footage. Yes, it wouldn't be too many waiver rounds to go, I think. Wait and see. One. That'll be Ollie Patterson. And yeah, definitely the boys got that pit stop out of the way. It's going to be a 14 lap dash home, I think, or a 13 lap dash home. Wait for the safety car to get everything sorted out. And definitely looking forward to seeing how this one plays out for the rest of this race. Of course, the old adage, safety cars breed safety cars. But Richie Borella doing a good job here in the Bay 21 Coffee Beans safety car. Nicely getting around the track. And, of course, a big thank you to all of our sponsors that we have in the series as well. Like Bay 21, Supercheap Auto, Rebel Sports, Macpac, and BCF. And then not to mention as well, Borella Cabinets and the Pool Guys Adelaide. And, of course, West End Motor Group and Bay 21 Coffee Beans. So big thank you to all those guys. The sponsors makes it very difficult to run a league like this, so they're all greatly appreciated. Race Control handing out a post-race penalty to Funky Miller. Still busy at work as well. So definitely run through James Scott. Jordan Ross is our race leader. Jordan Ross has jumped up one spot. And Rick Kuznetsov's up 3 spots. He's had the big jump in that pit stop. And Tom Freer sitting in 4th. Jared Filsell in 5th. Of course, Jared started rear grid in Heat 1, worked his way up into P5 now. Hopefully, he'll be looking to advance to go further forward. Macpac, the 9.5 Sim Sports boss, sitting in 6th. He'd be happy with that as well. He's up 1 spot. Sitting in the game, ready to go. Briggsy in 7th. Former champion of the series. Expect him to put the power down when he gets going. Damien Johnstone from Synergy Sim Racing in 8th. Brenton Hobson, the only person to be a 2-time champion of the Supercheap East Coast Series, is sitting in 9th. And Tom Freer up 13 spots in 10th. The other guy who's done well, who make some mentions of, Chris Smart's leading our Super 2 drivers. He's in 11th. That's great from him. Then we've got Jack Boyd up 19 spots. He's doing really well. And then, of course, the other Super 2 driver in that battle is in 14th, which is Craig Schultz. He's still waiting for this safety car, hopefully to pull away soon. And hopefully we'll get to go green racing this lap.
Yeah, Wade Sheedy seemed to have lost a bit of ground in that pit stop round, so he's down in 16th, but Craig Schultz, Dave Coleman were able to make up a bit of ground that they'd lost earlier, so they're in 14th and 15th, so that's going to be an interesting battle for the Super 2 honours there between Schultz, Coleman, Sheedy, Rigby, Dave Kirby.
Of course, going into this round, we had Smart and Schultz on equal points. Then Coleman was only 3 points behind, or 4 points behind, so very tight battle in that championship.
Yeah, absolutely. Christian doing a good job at the moment, but he's up in P11, so got a few spots on his competitors in Super 2 at the moment. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting battle, that one, for Super 2 honours tonight.
As Richie Borella puts the pedal down, gets the Merc out of the way. And what does James do this time? Does he go early? Yes, he does. He's off at the apex of the final turn.
Jordan Ross was ready for it by the looks of it, because he's got a good jump as well.
Yep. Probably a little bit of team discord there. We're going to go now, so they all knew. And we are away, heading down into turn 3, down the Firestone corner. As James Scott leads them around. Looks like we've had no real jump in places, except for a little bit further back. Dave Coleman getting past Schultz. But we'll stay back in this battle pack here. Jump back here a little bit where we've got Tom Frere. He's got Bill Cell tucked right up behind. Looks like Phil Cell's going to get the run here. And Phil Cell moves himself into 4th spot. McNamara now putting a bit of pressure on Freo. little bit caught out, I think, from the pit stop. Sorry, not from the pit stop, sorry, new tyres from the pit stop and the safety car. I'm a little bit worried about cold tyres.
Yeah, Tom's already lost a little bit of ground to Jared there, so I'm sure he'll settle back in and latch onto the back, especially if Jared and Rick Kuznetsov start battling it out, so that'll give Tom the opportunity to get back onto the back of him.
Yeah, that's what he'll be looking for. James Scott just set the fastest lap of the race with a 1:30.01. Absolutely flying. Might just go a little bit further back. Good little battle back here for Super 2 boys. War Boys in the thick of this as well, and so is Radu. And we've got Rigby and Visma side by side. War Boys trying to barge his way through. Of course, fun fact about Anthony Visma, he's one of the race control stewards for vets on Thursday nights. Tough gig is that one, as you know, Mark.
Yeah, race control's always a tough gig. You never make any friends, but it's all part of racing, and I think everybody out on track realises that, you know, people give up their personal time to do race control, and they've got to appreciate and be thankful that they're there, because if it wasn't, like, we would just have never-ending problems within races, and that's why league races are so popular.
And they are, and just Jordan Ross just came out and smashed that time. It's now a 1:29.996, so we're now under the 1:30s. So this pace starting to hotten up as he's closed that gap to Scott there a little bit as well. Scott was a little bit slower on that one. Kuznetsov under a lot of pressure from Phil Sell again. Saw before the pit stop that he was able to handle it.
Yeah, driving around here at speed with no distractions is hard enough, but having Jared's Phil Sell for your mirror for 17 laps could be very distracting, and yeah, Rick Kuznetsov done an outstanding job so far.
He's doing really well. Careful though, those curves can throw you around. Yeah, big compliment from Facebook, James Ellis saying race control here's better than F1. we won't be telling Seb that, James. So Phil Sell here, he's working pretty hard over the back of Kuznetsov. Rick definitely holding up with the pressure.
Yeah, Rick's not really losing too much ground to Jordan Ross in front either, so both these drivers, Rick Kuznetsov and Jared Filso, the 9.5 boys and the Synergy Sim Racing boys, their cars look quite stable when they're bashing the curb, so obviously they've got a good setup in the car, and yeah, it's quite an intriguing battle between these two teams at the moment.
Of course, all these drivers in the top 10 racing, I'll probably say about their top 10, they're all racing tomorrow night in the Logitech G Pro Series as well, so they've all been putting a fair bit of work into their race setups.
Jared with a great move there in a place you don't normally see a pass get made, but he's been able to execute it without making any contact.
Yeah, beautifully done. Now we'll see what pace he's got. Can he run down Jordan Ross in front?
I'm sure Rick Kuznetsov didn't expect that little pass there, and probably just caught him a little bit unaware.
Yeah, I don't think he expected that.
Really had no choice but to kind of lift off and give Jared some space. Otherwise, it probably would have ruined both their races. So hats off to both drivers.
Yeah. Of course, Freya's now pushed right up onto the back. They just said because Phil sells past, he doesn't get a breathe up. They might just go back. Have a look how Dylan Rudd's fighting his way back. He's got himself up now into 15th, tucked up right behind Dave Coleman.
They've given Dylan plenty of space there to pull through. So smart racing once again from Dave, doing an outstanding job. Another Vets Chief Steward in race control for the V8 Vets. So appreciate all Dave's work for Vets, and great to see him out there racing well in this series.
They're doing really good tonight. So he's definitely holding his own in that top 15. It's going to jump on with Macmamara. He's still in this little tight pack in between Freya and Briggs.
Yeah, we're probably going to see Jared Faisal tow everybody up to the rear of Jordan Ross, I think, before race end. We've got 8.5 laps to go, so still a little bit of time to for a few things to unfold here.
It definitely rolling through. They said these cars looking very stable.
Sean McNamara doing a good job tonight too, currently in P6. He's had a pretty solid outing tonight, and I'm sure he'll be pumped for the Pro Series tomorrow night. Adam Briggs doing a good job as well. So all these drivers doing exceptionally well around this very tricky concrete jungle in Detroit.
Yeah, definitely tough going, but doing really well. And of course, we've got 40 cars on track tonight. So they've a mixed standard of driving, not having a go. We've got some pretty good guys in the Super 2 series. But that's the best of the best tomorrow night. So these guys will be working extra hard again. Saying that, we have the best of the best with James Scott, who's leading the Pro Series out in front at the moment. It might just jump up. Jared's now closed that gap a little bit to Jordan. Still 1.1 seconds. Jared's last lap was a 1:37.9. Jordan was a 1:38.3. He's only very, very carefully edging his way forward.
Briggsy with a big lunge there, sorry, on Sean McNamara, that didn't quite work out. They both ended up getting through cleanly, but Adam was lucky not to end up in the wall there, I think.
Shane Patterson with a quote of the night. He got bulldogged.
Big shout out to Dave. Hope you're watching, mate. I hope you're well.
He's driving really good. A guy that doesn't get much time on the sim. Had pretty good pace last week at Barcelona.
Jared Faisal was able to take another 2.5 tenths out of Jordan Ross there, so that gap is coming down quite quickly.
Not too far away now where he's going to start to feel the effects of the tow. Use that draft. That'll help him get onto the back of Ross a lot quicker. And he's just about pulled away enough from Kuznetsov to stop dragging him along as well, so. This battle will be on, I think, in about 2 laps. Excuse me. Looking forward to seeing how these guys hit it out. This McKirby incident, racing one. Going to jump back on Craig Schultz for a second. He's under a fair bit of pressure here with Coleman. And of course, Wade Sheedy in the back mix to this year as well. This is really some great racing from our Super 2 boys.
Yeah, these boys have been battling hard since the safety car left the circuit earlier on, and yeah, they've been nose to tail and driving exceptionally well and good clean racing.
Yeah, definitely going really hard at it. Going to jump on with McNamara for a minute. So Macca has Adam Briggs tucked up behind him. Briggsy showing his nose there. Make his intentions pretty clear. Wants to get past. Been some great battling in this second heat. To say the standard of driving tonight has been very high. You boys a little bit unlucky.
Yeah, the driving tonight's been absolutely fantastic, considering how difficult this track can be at times. When I look back at the race here when Scops was here, it was nowhere near as clean as what we've seen tonight. So hats off to all the boys out there racing, doing a great job in the series.
And it is a tough track. Tough track to race at, tough track to not be first to the incident. It's also a track of heartache. Can wind up the victim of someone else's incident around here quite quickly, which is what we've seen a few times tonight. As
Yeah, absolutely.
Phil Sell's now got that gap down to half a second.
Yeah, I've just honed in on this one, and yeah, Jared's going to be putting all sorts of pressure on Jordan here in no time. But we've seen Jordan drive exceptionally well all season. He's leading the series, so he won't be giving up second place too easily.
No, and of course, clean sweeped last week's two races at Imola. And Imola's one of those driving tracks, very technical. Need to get it right. But Phil Sell definitely putting the pedal down. James Scott hasn't cleared out as much as I thought he would. He's only 1.5 seconds up the road here.
Yeah, I think James is managing his race properly. He knows this place can bite really quickly, and with only just over 4 laps to go, I think he's just in race management mode at the moment. If he needed to probably go a little bit quicker, I'm pretty sure he could. His lapse times are still exceptional, so but Jared Feisel's definitely been the quickest car on track the last 3 laps.
Of course, Jared, that lap was a 1:30.95, Ross a 1:31.12, and Scott a 1:31.16. But Phil Sell now definitely got the goggles on in front. Oh, that's a big lunge. Contact.
I think Jared just missed his brake marker there.
And Kuznetsov trying to get into the thick of this now. Ross got to be very careful here. He's going to get swallowed up behind. Kuznetsov trying to work his way through. Oh, Kuznetsov into the wall. Oh, no. That was huge. He's managed to keep it going straight, but...
He's managed to recover that.
Great recovery. Just see if we can pick that up again on the replay, but we might just stay on this because this is not all over yet, because here comes Briggs. Briggs trying to have a move on McNamara. great little battle pack forming here for the last couple of laps.
Yeah, I don't think Jared actually really meant to make that move. I think he just missed his brake marker by a fair margin and just ended up trying to avoid, making sure he didn't clean Jordan up there, and ended up getting the position. So I'm sure Jordan won't be too happy about that one, but they've both survived, and they've only lost, Jordan's lost 1 spot.
And race control have already called that one as a net code as well, so you won't see many more action out of that. But still plenty of action on track here. This whole group in the top 10 here, all bunched up together. As you can see, just going around the corner in front was Phil Sell. He's 5 seconds down the road from Scott. So I'm interested to see how these two boys go now. Swapping lap times after they now both got clean track in front of them. Keep an eye on Jordan Ross. Keep an eye on Rick Skanetsov. Keep an eye on Freya. These boys haven't finished this battle yet.
All the way back to 10th spot with Jack Boyd, it's line astern, so only going to take one mistake from someone for people to lose or gain big spots here.
Jump on the nose cam, or the roof cam, sorry, of Adam Briggs. Briggsy tucked right up behind Macca. See Freya, we can see Kunetsov, we can see Ross up the road. So he's starting the penultimate lap as well. So time's going to run out for a few of these boys. Still very little in between McNamara, Briggs behind, and not much more further forward going down to Tom Freya as well.
I'm not sure what's happened with Dave Coleman, but he's plummeted down into 31st place, and he has no boot or rear wing, so obviously a pretty big incident there.
We've been caught up in something. Jared Felsell still 6 seconds behind James Scott. Jordan Ross tucked up behind him now. But Jordan hasn't lost too much of his pace. So, what's that last lap? Jordan Ross with a 131.6. Felsell a 132. Scott was a 131.08, so last lap though, I think we're going to run out of time. As we jump up the track a little bit, James Scott, he's about to come through onto the strand for the final time. Jump back to Jordan Ross for the minute. It's tucked right up behind Phil Sell here now. Maybe Phil Sell's gone a little bit too hard, cooked his tyres. Ross thinks about the inside line there.
I actually thought Jared was going to let Jordan back through when the incident happened, but Rick Kuznetsov was too close.
Jump back on with James. James Scott coming around. Oh, Hobson's an accident in the back there. We'll quickly stick on here. We'll get across. We'll come back to that. James Scott coming around into the strand, coming around the James Scott Memorial Fountain, named after the 1920s philanthropist of Detroit, not James Scott, the driver, as he comes across the line. And James Scott has taken clean sweep, race 1 and 2. Phil Sell will bring it home in second. Kuznetsov has got through. So I've got to work out what happened with Ross. Ross has ended up back in 4th. Tom Freer is home in 5th. 6th is Briggsy. Jack Boyd ends up 25 spots up into 7th. Thomas Freeman in 8th, up 15 spots. Christian Smart in 9th. Jamie Dyke in 10th. Blake Warboys up 13 spots to finish outside the top 10 and 11th. That's a good recovery drive from Blake. Of course, I think he was involved in one of those incidences as well, where the track was blocked and facing the wrong way. And then we've got Craig Schultz, one of our Super 2 drivers. Hobson in 13th. 14th is Radu. So a few of these boys doing quite well. I'm just going to go back, try and find out what happened in a few spots. To McNamara, start with him on the Supercheap Auto replay. This coming down the strand towards the cricket pitch. And he's had contact with Briggs. That spun Hobson in the middle of that as well. Another one of the 9.5 cars. That was a pretty big one. I think that might have been Dylan Rudd there at the end. And just going to try and find what happened to Jordan Ross as he was passed there at the end. Visma passed that. And I can't find that one, so not sure what happened.
I think that was around turn 8, I think. It was where Faisal got past Rick Kuznetsov. Rick did the same thing to Jordan, so not sure that there was a lot in it, but I'll leave that one for racing control to sort out.
See if I can jump on board Jordan. This is all the replay at the moment. Of course, Phil sell the slower cars back to Kuznetsov up to this battle. And Jordan a little bit loose. Great move from Rick. That is an epic pass. He's very happy with that one. And of course, that was the move. And so that was another epic race, Mark.
Yeah, some fantastic racing. It got a little bit messy there at the end, but nothing that we don't expect from these boys when they're putting it all on the line for the positions they're racing for. So, yeah, great drive again from James Scott, just showing why he's leading the Pro Series. Jared Faisal coming from the rear of grid in race 1 to end up on the podium in race 2, a stellar effort as well. And Rick Kuznetsov did a great job. He was under pressure the whole of that race from Jared Faisal, and withstood it for 90% of the race. So yeah, some great driving tonight.
Of course, we've got James in here with us at the moment. 2 bullets, James. You have to be pretty happy with that one tonight.
Yeah, mate. The car had been pretty average at this track, to be honest. I was big struggle. And I don't know, I was just sort of thinking about it, and I was a bit lost of how to be fast. But I don't know, I was just, yeah, as I said, thinking about it today, and come on tonight and put in me thoughts, and I didn't really know. I thought I was probably not going to be very good, but turned out to be half all right. So still probably lacking just a little bit of race pace, but yeah, overall can't be too disheartened.
The set did look very stable as well, which was something that we commented on about yours and the 9.5 guys. You all looked fairly stable with your set there and fairly balanced through most of the race.
Yeah, no, I think it was. I know a few of our boys were running a few different things, just to try and get some knowledge of what works and what doesn't around here for tomorrow night. And I think we probably saw sort of what the way to go is. So yeah, but no, the car did feel pretty good. So should be a good race tomorrow night.
That'll be very interesting. And Rick, that was another great drive from yourself, mate. You had a fair battle there to get home in 3rd.
Yeah, I don't know if that was a fair move or not. It felt good in cockpit, but I think I did tag Jordan a bit. So yeah, I'm not sure if I'll keep the group, but I'm here.
Nah, the boys, I believe, from what I saw of the chat that pops up in our broadcast screen, that it may have been a net code. So you might be lucky there and get away with that one.
Yeah, fair enough. That's good. Good for a P3.
There. No, Jordan, a little bit unlucky. Are you talking about the last lap move, or are you talking about the one earlier on?
Nah, the last lap move when I went for a bit of a lunch.
Yeah, that looked fairly clean when we watched that back on the replay. It looked like Jordan just got a little bit loose. That was sort of only from one angle though, so not too sure what they would have seen from other angles. But for me, from my glance, what we quickly had, yeah, it looked like Jordan got a little bit loose.
We'll find out.
Yeah,
See you all later.
we'll find out. I think Seb's had a busy night, just quietly. There's brutal track. Got to come back and do it all again tomorrow night. So, what are your thoughts about that one, Rick?
Not so keen. I don't really like this track at all. I think it's one of my weaker tracks. Never really liked driving around it. But yeah, tonight was actually alright. Didn't think I have that much pace. But yeah, this track is not really my cup of tea, to be honest.
That's fair enough. It is a brutal track to race at. It's good to watch at, but it's brutal to race at. I think the V8's at this place though does always puts on a show, but you know, I think the driving standard tonight was actually pretty good, particularly from the boys up in the first half of the grid. Wasn't too many hard luck stories.
No, I thought all the boys did well. Yeah, big congratulations to James again. Showed he's still in stellar form. And Rick, I thought you controlled your race pretty well. You're under a lot of pressure there from Jared Feisel for about 90% of the race, and you drove exceptionally well. So I think you might be in for a pretty good night tomorrow night if you stick to your guns.
Yeah, we'll hope so. Just stay out of drama and hopefully get a clean race like today.
That's all you can ask for. Before we talk about next week, you want to give a shout out to Rick?
Yeah, big shout out to 9-5 boys and all their hard work. Racecraft Simulations, Pony Race Imperial, RSW Graphics, and Racing Ease.
Too easy. And when yourself, James?
Yeah, obviously all the guys at SSR haven't probably nailed the setup this week, but we're on the right track. So got to thank their work. Obviously our sponsors as well: Watercraft Performance Centre, Parramatta Isuzu Ute, Works Racing Components, Dr. Epoxy, DM Cinematography, and yeah, obviously you guys for the broadcast and all the guys doing the race control and stuff. I think they're gonna have a big night. So
Yeah, absolutely.
hopefully it's all good.
So next week we roll into, of course, Donington for a 200k race. Any thoughts on that, guys?
Is it what's the layout? Is it the full one or the shorter one?
It's whatever Ash wants, but yeah, I'd probably say there's a fair chance it'll be the full one.
Yeah, no. Either way, the full one's definitely better, but the short one's still not too bad. But Donington's, yeah, no, pretty good track. It's been pretty favourable to me in the past. I've usually gone quite well there, so yeah, I don't know. It's just a bit of a unique track, that one. So have to see what we can put together. But yeah, no, it should be fun. It always produces some pretty good racing.
Yeah, and I think the flow of that track as well. It's a completely different style of tracks that we've been at for the last three rounds as well. So I think it's really going to put the cat amongst the pigeons again in terms of racecraft and in terms of pace for everybody, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Spew and I couldn't make last week. Pardon the pun, I was actually quite sick, so couldn't get on the sim. But yeah, Imola was a great track. So yeah, really annoying that I missed that. But yeah, Donington's also pretty well. But yeah, massively different to where we were tonight. So yeah, have to, I don't know, get through tomorrow night. Probably have a few days off and rock up next week and see what we can do.
Too easy. We thought you missed last week as Team Waters to give Jordan a chance.
Yeah, we'll go with that. We've got to give him a win at some point, right?
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, I just want to also say a big thank you to you as well, Mark. I think we both battled through a little bit tonight, so
yeah, battled some technical dramas, but got there in the end.
Yeah, got there in the end. And of course, a big thank you to all the guys out in the chat. Without you guys out there watching and providing a bit of feedback and stuff like that, makes life a lot easier for us and a bit more entertaining. And of course, a big thank you to the drivers. It's them that put the show on, and you know they rock up every week and drive as hard as they can and as fast as they can, and put on a really good show for us. And a big thanks to the boys in race control and the league admin, and of course the league sponsors, Supercheap Auto, Rebel Sports, Macpac, and BCF, West End Motor Group, Pool Guys, Bay 21 Coffee, and of course Borella Cabinets. Without all those companies, our league probably wouldn't be possible to be running. And on that note, we might wrap it up and see everybody again next week.
There's no arguing that people love their cars.
We weren't arguing.
They talk about their cars, sing about their cars. Some people even look like their car. Whether it's an old car, new old car, fast car, family car, electric car, race car, two-wheel car, no-wheel car, or a car you know's parked around here somewhere. People who love their cars love to tinker with them. Some people tinker big, some people tinker small. Some people tinker some degree between those two variables.
Whose voice is that?
And that's where Supercheap Auto comes in. We've been helping people tinker for 50 years. For people like Bill, Lucy, Kevin, other Kevin.
Oi, get off my car!
Didn't catch this guy's name.
It's Kevin.
Not Patrick. He doesn't shop with us. Whoever you are, whatever you drive, we'll help you make it super. Because super is our middle name. Well, technically it's our first